watch
How?
this?
How?
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 Ew,
How do you watch this?
Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie in the genre we love, but they don't. I don't know, I forgot that. Your name is
Dude,
Demi.
I thought you were being like impactful, like, but they don't.
No. It's like almost threw up for a
Yeah.
second. My name is Demi and I love horror.
My name is Megan and I love romance.
And this week I had Megan watch the movie Overlord.
Yep. So our common thread between the romance movie and the horror movie for this week, these 2 weeks, is war. So the movie itself is called Overlord, as Demi said. It was released in 2018. So it's as is 95% of the movies we watch, an hour and 50 minutes. It's a zombie horror with director Julius Avery. Two of the main characters who you may have heard of are, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing their names right, but Jovan Adepo, who is actually in the It miniseries called Welcome to Derry.
Pretty good show. I think it's pretty decent. I do like him a lot though. In the show.
Then we have Wyatt Russell, who I just saw your note in here that he's Kurt Russell's boy.
Yeah, it's his, I mean, if you couldn't tell from his face, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a very recognizable face, and I'm trying to remember why it was so recognizable. And Travis was like, "Well, he's the replacement for Captain America in Thunderbolts," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
okay." And he was also in 22 Jump Street, but it still wasn't like, but now that I know it's Kurt Russell's son, I'm like, that's why his face, I was like, he has to have been in something I've seen, like something I've like watched recently or like whatever. Just to give a quick snapshot of the movie before we move into, spoilers and things like that. The movie itself is about World War II. It's about to be D-Day and American fighters. I don't know, Navy, Army, Air Force, whatever.
There's like a group. They're supposed to be.
They have a special mission. Yeah. And they basically, these men are on an they're Americans. They're on an airplane. They're flying over. Their mission is to get to this church and take down this tower so that the airplanes can communicate with the men on the shore. So that's their special mission. The airplane gets hit, goes down, and the men that are left, there's like a handful of men that are left, and they go on this journey. And basically they end up in this Nazi occupied village in France. And they work their way to get into the church, and they end up finding out that they are working on a special serum that can resuscitate someone who has died and give them super strength for their army. So that's kind of like really brief discussion of the movie without going into spoilers, which we're eventually going to be
in 5 seconds.
Yeah, in like 5 seconds. So before we start talking about the movie itself, I guess I do want to talk about the way it represents war, since that's our thread.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this, and I did not do any research at all. First of all, don't know much about war. I'm sitting there next to Travis, and like most men, he knows too much.
Yeah, we're just two ladies,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I've seen my fair share of war movies, and I do enjoy them, even though they're all freaking sad. I don't know a lot of details. I just know it's bad.
Yeah.
It fucks you up, and
Yeah, I saw a lot of like PTSD things and shell shock, like whatever, growing up, and you learn about it in history class. And then I'm watching this, I was like, whoa, Travis, do you think planes actually got shot like that? That's crazy. And he was just like, yeah, I think a lot of planes got shot like that, Megan. He's like, could be worse though. I was like, what's worse? He's like, could have exploded like the other airplanes in the air. So I was like, whoa, this is like really intense. Because it's very like beginning of the movie, first couple scenes, it's like the engines are on fire, things like that. And I was just like, whoa, people deal with that. I did not like mentally consider these aspects of war.
Yeah, and this beginning scene I loved. I thought it was so cool, like well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see the soldiers and they're chatting, and then things go crazy.
Yeah.
The plane is hit. Half of it gets freaking blown off. People are flying, and then they're starting to throw the soldiers out. So they have parachutes, but they're tossing them out. These poor guys are freaking terrified.
Yeah.
They're tossing him out, and then the main character we follow, we see him falling. So not only is he falling, but there's planes getting shot at and blown up all around him.
And I never thought about this. Is that I was like, well, you're out of the plane. You're safe once you're in the air.
Yeah.
But there's all this shrapnel in the air coming towards you. I was like, dude, this is like a horror. It's a horror movie.
This is horror. Like that was so scary, and it was so cool. And that plane scene apparently was done like, so they rigged a plane and they actually blew off the end of it and then had fire, and they were throwing stunt double people through the fucking flame.
No.
They had it tilted down. They were just throwing people through there. So it was like practically done, which is nuts. And so that's why it looked really good. But I thought that opening scene was like really, really cool. And even like most of it, when we like talk about war, it was very much just a war movie. We're following these poor guys. They have this like companionship with each other, and you just know who's gonna die. You know, it's always like the dweeby guy.
It's always the guy who's like, I've been reading a novel. And I'm like, you mother.
The artsy guys.
Stop.
With glasses.
Don't write a novel. Don't write novels if you're going to war, man. You can't do that.
Yeah. And then like they're walking, and then the freaking mine goes off. And I'm like,
dude, I was literally out of my body. I was so unexpected. So much in this movie, so much I didn't see coming, and then it scared the shit out of me. And I can't tell you how many times I told Travis. I would look at Travis so many times, and I was like, I'd be pooping my pants. Dude. I would not have made it. They would not have. I immediately would have been. This is the scariest concept in the world to me. Is like, first of all, you go through no wonder they had PTSD. You go through your plane exploding. You land in enemy territory. Immediately, okay, spoilers. He immediately sees his captain get shot. Yeah. He then has his friend immediately next to him blows up with a landmine. And then he has to run through an occupied town. Yeah, I was like, there's no part of me that would make it through this. No. The characters that I'm going to talk about, for the most part, that will probably both, like, there are other characters who we can reference, but I don't remember their names as well. There's Boyce, who's played by Adepo. Ford, who is played by Russell. And then there's Chloe Laurent, who's played by Mathilde Ollivier. And the bad guy is Wafner, who's played by Pilou Asbaek.
Probably, I guess. But boo.
Yeah, he's the Nazi who is, shocker, a horrible person.
Evil.
You won't believe this. Like, he was a bad guy.
What do you mean?
And I think like one of the things that I think is interesting about this, which is really like one of the hard things for me with this movie in general, I really struggled with the amount of gore. There's a lot of gore in this one. Yeah. And like, even there's this one scene where like the good guys capture, like Ford and Boyce have captured Wafner, and they have him tied up, and Ford is basically trying to get information out of him, and he's interrogating him, and he's beating him with brass knuckles, and it's like he deserves it. And it's like, it doesn't matter like how much someone deserves it. It is so uncomfortable watching violence happen to a person. Like, I just
it's brutal, and I really like the dynamic between Ford and Boyce, because Boyce is very like, he's just like a good guy, you know. He's just a very, very good guy, and Ford is like in charge of this group, and he's very much like, we need to get this job done. I don't care how it happens, but we just need to do it. Very like typical military minded, and Boyce is like, you know, a little sensitive guy. He wants to help, but he's, you know, he has a kinder heart, which, you know, is good. But also can be
not
a little tricky in this situation. And maybe, you know, you don't have to beat the complete shit out of him, but
at the same time, there's like, I don't know, it's like there's no rule.
It's war things, you know, it's
so basically the reason why we got here in the first place is because there's this young French girl who's trying to like scavenge for stuff, and Boyce and Ford and their crew follows her back to her house and like hide out there, and she has this really sick which
bro,
first of all you hear are like these like
a zombie. I would have shit my pants walking into that house. I mean, it's World War II. I don't think like the concept of zombie had really been a thing.
Not to what we have today.
But I would have been like, ma'am.
No.
I would have just thought of the concept of a zombie in my head right there and be like, that's a zombie in that room.
And then Boyce sees her at one point and she looks grotesque.
Foul. Yeah.
And I'm like, how has this girl, Chloe, not been alarmed by how sickly her aunt is? Like, this is not normal.
I mean,
the thing that's wild to me is they never round out this storyline. Nothing ever happens with the aunt.
Yeah, it seems like she was taken, right? Experimented on and then somehow survived it. Because it seems like when they showed like other people they were pulling out, it didn't seem like a lot of them survived it or they killed them. So I don't really know how the aunt got back to them unless because, you know, this piece of shit had this thing with her. And I don't know, brought her back, the aunt back to be like, look, this is what's gonna happen if you don't give me what I want. So, but she was like, the aunt was just kind of hanging out in the room, horrified. I would be like, kill me.
Yeah.
I'm sure she doesn't feel fucking great, but
no, it wouldn't have been easy to kill her though, as we learn later. Another thing that really surprised me was the way we learn about there being zombies. All you've seen right now is this gross sick aunt, and then they have this serum, and Boyce has like seen some things. He's seen some creepy things and like that are not explainable. And he has found the serum. He has one shot of serum. And so we see the one friend, his name's Chase. He's one of the other army guys. He goes up to get the captive Wafner, and he gets through a series of events, ends up dying in the process of trying to get him down. And then in a fit of like hope, Boyce gives him the serum and he comes back to life, and he is immediately super strong, absolutely horrifying. I think this is the scariest zombies I've ever seen in a movie because they are super fast, super strong. The only way to kill them is to literally obliterate their brains.
Yeah, they are just themselves, but like fucked up. You know, like he was like, I'm scared, I don't know what's going on. And then they try to like shoot him because he's looking crazy. And then he comes back and he's more angry and like violent. And then his freaking neck like folds all the way back, which was puppetry they did with.
No way. That was practical?
Yeah, that was practical. And it's disgusting. And it's so creepy. Yeah, it's intense. Like that serum is fucked. But it is very hard, almost impossible to kill these fucking people. But did not like that. I didn't like that scene. It was creepy.
No, it was super creepy. So shootout happens. Wafner gets hit in the face with a bullet. And they kidnap Chloe's younger brother, and you know, obviously the guys end up doing a good thing. The American soldiers are like, okay, let's save the boy and complete the mission at the same time. So they go after to save the boy, and we see that Wafner has, even though he's still alive, he was shot in the face, he's not doing good. He just has to inject himself 2 times with the serum, and he turns into
super zombie,
living zombie. He's a horrifying monster, disgusting creature. And basically the way that he gets overcome, like the way that they beat him, is that this was like this is, I think, probably the deleted and also most memorable scenes for me, which is like Ford saving the day is the most memorable part. But freaking Wafner takes Ford and puts him on like this giant fish hook. So it goes through his chest and he's hanging on this fish hook and he's just beating into him. Yeah. So gruesome. But then with Boyce's help, he gets down off of this fish hook and then he injects himself with the serum and he uses that opportunity to take down and explode the whole space.
But poor Boyce wanted to save Ford, and Ford was like, no, do not let our people get a hold of this serum, which smart. He knows damn well.
Smart. So smart. So that was another thing. I was like, I didn't expect that coming with them, like keeping it a secret. And part of me loves that also. And like, it almost makes it feel like this movie could have actually happened. Because honestly, wouldn't put it past the Nazis to do any of this shit.
I mean, they did horrible experimentation.
If they had the capabilities of doing this, they would have done this for sure.
Yeah.
So I just like, I thought that was really impressive. And then they saved the day and they're all like grown and better people afterwards because they're like stronger. And they would have kicked me out of the army, dude. They would have been like, I don't care that we need bodies. Get this.
Yeah.
lady out of here.
Boyce was straight up like, we're gonna go find Hitler and kill him. And I was like, I love your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. I'd be like, I'm done.
Send me home.
The worst.
I fought against a super zombie. I have done my job.
I've done enough. I've seen the true horrors of war.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, I would love if there was another part. It's just these fucking dudes trying to fucking kill Hitler. Like, hell yeah.
yeah, for sure. It was well done. Photography was good. The obviously practical effects, which I think makes a big impact on how it comes across.
Yeah.
The writing was good. Like, I feel like it was a very good movie. I feel like for horror, it really hit the mark. I was very scared. I jumped multiple times and like literally gasped. And Travis was making fun of me. And I was just like, dude, that was terrifying. Like when Chloe and the little boy were escaping from the underground church, and then that gigantic creature just like reaches in and grabs her. And I was like,
I didn't like that. No, I didn't
like that. Did not like it. Did not like it.
A lot of creepy stuff in there. A lot of creepy stuff in this movie. Like even Boyce seeing all the experiments, and there was one lady, it was just like her head and the spinal cord, and she was like still alive. Like really crazy shit. Like that whole scene, I was like,
Yes. I know. That was like, that was Body Mutations. That's my deleted scene, just because there was way too much of.
There was a lot.
That. I want you to tell me what you would have rated it.
Okay. Are we gonna do the two different scores?
Yeah. So we're moving forward into a new world of scoring. I think in large part because I am so incapable of giving horror movies good scores. Our personal enjoyment rating, and then a genre rating. So what it really deserves, and then what we actually feel about.
I feel like mine would be pretty close.
Similar. Yeah.
I would say for genre, maybe like 4.3 or so. Okay. But my personal score, I'd give it like a 4.6 or.
Okay.
I really liked it. I wouldn't give it the full 5, but I still really liked it.
Like, what would it have needed for that?
I think like I want to say more zombies.
Yeah.
Maybe more zombies. Okay. I think that would have been fun, but I still really enjoyed it. You know, I think if it had. Yeah, I think if it had a little bit more zombie stuff, because it was pretty cool the way they were done. I think it would have gotten a 5 for me, but I still really liked it.
Yeah, for me, for genre rating, I actually feel like it's a 5 for horror. I was scared. I thought it was well made. I thought it was well done. So for me, genre rating, I think it's a 5. I was super scared, but for enjoyment rating, I have to go a bit lower. With 3.75. So, and so this is where I was like, originally, when we weren't doing the two different scores, I was going to give it a 4 because for me, it's just like too gory. I just was like, it's not something I would watch again. Yeah. It's not something that like I didn't enjoy. Like there wasn't much I enjoyed about it because it's just like the war was sad. The zombies were scary. It was a lot for me, but I feel like it was so well done. Do just feel like it was really, really well made, and I was genuinely scared multiple times throughout. So for me, scare wise, it hits the marks. But I not watch it again. I would recommend it to someone who likes scary movies.
Yeah, I would recommend it to people that like action as well.
Okay,
to a certain point, but like you know, I think it does a good job of having a lot of good action, even when like the zombies come out, like, and then there's like horror in it and like war. So I feel like it has a good mix, and I would recommend it to, you know, a few people that aren't just exclusive horror people.
That's fair.
Because it is horror, but like it doesn't have a ton of horror as well. Like in a way that typical horror, I guess, in the genre is. I don't like all my horror movies to be the same shit. So I think this was creative and different, and it surprised me when I watched it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. The original screenplay was supposed to have more zombie action towards the end. So there was like supposed to be like a bigger shootout in the church and stuff.
Okay.
Which I think could have been fun, but also like, you know, sometimes too much action is like, you know, it's a little much and it gets like campy. And I feel like this movie never reached like camp in a way. Like it was a little crazy, but it never felt campy. And I feel like if they would have done more action stuff, I think it would have gone a little camp, which isn't bad, but I think it would have taken away from the movie. So yeah, it even got to a point where they're like throwing grenades at zombies, and then Boyce uses like this sword to fucking fight. zombies. So I would have like, in theory, like, cool, like I like goofy shit like that, but also I don't know if it would have worked for this movie. So
okay, so for Demi for next week for our war theme, I really wanted to give this movie called The Coral or Coral. I don't know. The British pronounce it the Coral. So Coral. So that's not coming out until Christmas of this year. So I'm gonna hold on to that one for later. Yeah, we'll get there. Oh, another war movie. Great. So instead, I'm gonna give you Pearl Harbor, and I know it's so long.
You have so many choices, and you're gonna be the longest.
I know,
movie
3
ever.
hours and 3 minutes, dude. It's so stinking long.
Well, honestly, all the other movies, they're long. These like romance war movies are so fucking long.
They're long. I only picked this one because I know how like everyone loves it, and it's like all these. It's like the gateway drug of men into romance, I think. Because like Travis said Pearl Harbor, and he's like, oh, it's Pearl Harbor, and I'm like, okay. So we'll see, but it's going to be. I think I'm going to watch it over 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be like basically a fresh take for me.
I cannot remember
so long
anything about it. Yeah. Yes, I literally was just looking up like really quick a synopsis because I think it was like I think it's been almost 14 years.
Yeah,
it's been a very long time.
I was definitely a teenage, like young, teen. Preteen. It's old.
Yes, I watched it with Travis like early when we started dating. So this is, I think this was his way of trying to get a movie that we would both like, and I can't remember how I felt about it at all. So,
I mean, it's got a like triangle. And...
I mean, as I've mentioned in the past, I don't love a love triangle, but we'll see. It's, I mean, to give you a super fast snapshot. World War II. There's some pilots. There's a nurse. There's a love triangle, and Pearl Harbor happens. So that's pretty much. Look.
All right. Where can I find Pearl Harbor? Where can we find?
Where can you find Pearl Harbor with us? We believe. We believe it is on Hulu. So check Hulu or I guess Disney Plus since they're married now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Letterboxd at How Do You Watch This?
Yes.
You can find us on TikTok at How Do You Watch. You can also email us at howdoyouwatchthis@gmail.com. And if you enjoyed the show, please support us by leaving a review or liking or following, whatever, telling a friend about us in a good way.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye.